Hello and welcome back to the KanCare Ombudsman Liaison Training. We're continuing with the line-by-line guide of the application for the elderly and persons with disabilities. In this module, we'll talk about the following questions. Do you need help paying medical bills from the past 3 months? What are or were your living arrangements? Are you eligible for VA benefits? Do you have any out-of-pocket expenses? What tax year is this application looking for? And questions about Social Security disability determinations. We are now going to continue on with page 4 of the KanCare application for the elderly and persons with disabilities. Do you need help paying medical bills from the last 3 months? And that would include Medicare premiums. If you do, mark this question yes if the applicant needs help paying medical bills that occurred 3 months prior to the month of application. So if you applied sometime in March, either March 1st, March 15th, or the end of March, it doesn't matter. Your month of application is March. So do you need help paying for medical bills that occurred 3 months prior to March? So December, January, or February? If you do, you need to answer yes to this question on the application. Not all KanCare programs are retroactive and have the ability to pay previous medical bills, but some programs do. The applicant must mark this question yes to allow KDHE to be able to review their eligibility for 3 months prior to the month of application. Nursing homes, it is important to mark this question yes if the applicant has been a resident in your facility any months prior to completion and submission of their application. For example, if the resident was admitted to the facility on January 10th, but the application wasn't submitted until the month of February, for example, February 9th, then they must mark this question yes to allow KDHE eligibility to review the applicant's eligibility for January. Did you request help with bills in the past 3 months? If so, there are additional questions to answer on page 5 of the application. The applicant may be eligible for the same or different programs during that time. It'll all depend on whether or not there are changes in income, assets or resources, or who's living in the household. On page 4, line 12 of the application, which of the following best describes this person's current living situation? They own their own home, they're renting, live with someone else, assisted living facility, hospital, nursing facility, or other institution. We're now on page 5 of the KanCare application for the elderly and persons with disabilities. On page 5, lines 3 and 4, questions about current and previous living arrangements. Is this person living outside the home? Answer yes or no. If yes, explain why they are living there. If the applicant is residing in a nursing home, please answer this question yes. What's the date expected to return home? If the stay in a facility is temporary and the person intends to return home, please indicate the date of the potential return to home. If a stay in the facility is permanent, please indicate permanent stay. What is the name of the facility? It's very important to list the specific name of the facility. If this is a swing bed facility, please also list the hospital name and indicate swing bed facility afterward. A swing bed facility is an alternative to prolonged acute hospitalization or short-term nursing facility placement for post-acute extended care. The swing bed program provides skilled nursing care and rehabilitation services. If you're not sure, ask the facility if they were considered a swing bed facility during any time of the individual's time with them. Date admitted and discharged. It's important to enter the date of admission and or discharge. A note to nursing homes. It is also important for the facility to submit a complete MS 2126 form to verify the dates to determine eligibility and payment approval. The consumer will not know what this is. It must be submitted by the long-term care facility. Ever been in a nursing facility for more than 30 days in a row? Please list the admission through discharge dates in a month, day, year format when answering this question. This question is specific to an applicant who has a spouse and the applicant is requesting long-term care coverage such as nursing home, PACE, or HCBS programs. KDHE needs to know the applicant's first 30 days stay in a hospital or nursing home. This will determine the month and the year that KDHE's eligibility team requests resources to determine how much a spouse can protect of the couple's resources. Ever served in the military? If the applicant has ever served in the military, there is a potential of cash benefits from the Veterans Administration. It is a requirement if you are a veteran or a spouse or current widow of a veteran to apply for cash benefits from the VA or to submit a letter saying that you are not eligible for those cash benefits. To apply or for help in getting a letter saying that you're not eligible, you can contact the VA Benefits Assistance Service at 1-800-827-1000 or their local Kansas Commission on Veterans Affairs office. To find the phone numbers and addresses for the local Kansas Commission on Veterans Affairs offices, go to https://veteran-services/office-locations. What type of documentation will the Kansas Commission on Veterans Affairs need to help you find out whether or not you are eligible for VA benefits? You'll need the Veterans Discharge Papers. For the Korean War or after, that would most likely be the DD-214 discharge papers. If you cannot find the discharge papers, the Kansas Commission on Veterans Affairs can help you get those papers. However, you will need to know when the veteran served, and that can take around 90 days to get that information. So if you are helping someone and they fit into this and they're going to need that information and don't have it, they need to get on this right away because it'll take some time to get that information, and they'll need to submit that in order to get their KanCare application processed fully. Does this person pay out of pocket for medical expenses? You can enter the applicant's private or Medicare supplemental insurance premiums here. If the applicant has ongoing medical expenses that they pay out of pocket for, you can list this here. Members may be able to reduce the amount they owe on their client obligation or on their spend down by submitting receipts for medical costs that are not covered by Medicaid or other insurance. So examples of allowable expenses that could reduce the client obligation or spend down are health insurance premiums, including Medicare premiums, or other medically necessary expenses that they've paid out of pocket that Medicaid and Medicare and other health insurance does not cover. Again, this is going to be for the members' medical expenses only. Did you request help with medical bills in the past 3 months? If so, there are additional questions to answer on page 5. Again, they're going to be asking about changes in the household, changes in income, changes in assets and resources. You could end up with 2 different programs, one at the time of the application and maybe even a different program before that, up to 3 months prior to your application submission date, due to those differences in housing, income, and assets and resources at that time. Were there changes in the household in the past 3 months? And we're talking about the 3 months prior to the application month. It's important to document if the applicant was in another living arrangement during the 3 months prior to the application month. Were they in another facility, a hospital, assisted living, in their own home? KDHE may determine eligibility for a different medical program in the prior 3 months based on their living arrangement. Were there changes in income in the past 3 months? In some cases, applicants have worked in prior months but are now unable to work and are in need of medical assistance. It's important to list any wages and provide copies of pay stubs for each month of the prior medical months. Changes in assets, again for the past 3 months. For example, did the applicant close a savings account and use the funds to set up a funeral arrangement? If so, KDHE would need verification that, number 1, that savings account had been closed, and 2, a copy of the funeral arrangements. Now we're ready for page 6 of the KanCare application for the elderly and persons with disabilities. Federal income tax information. This is aimed at how the applicant will file their taxes the following April, not how they have previously filed. Please answer the tax information questions for the primary applicant and any dependents, even if they are not applying for medical coverage. Tell us if you are disabled. This section asks if anyone in the household has a documented disability lasting more than 12 months or that will result in death. About Social Security benefits, the 2 determinations, SSI or SSDI. So, SSI is Supplemental Security Income, or SSDI, which is Social Security Disability Insurance. Application for disability benefits, or previous denials or appeal dates, which means you have a pending disability case with the Social Security Administration, or exacerbation of current disabilities since last filing, or presence of new disabilities since last filing for disability with the Social Security Administration. Already have a disability determination from Social Security. If you already have SSI or SSDI, then you already have that determination of disability by the Social Security Administration. In this case, you need to answer lines 14 through 16 and just put non-applicable in the rest. If you've not yet been determined disabled, then you'll need to answer each question in section D. If you are under the age of 65 and, again, not had that disability determination from the Social Security Administration yet. The reason you have to do this if you're under 65 is because you're filling out the application for people who are over 65 or who have a disability. So if you're over 65, it doesn't matter if you have a disability or not. You are still potentially eligible for KanCare. If a lawyer is involved with the disability case, list them here. If you'd like to continue with this line-by-line guide of the KanCare application for the elderly and persons with disabilities, please check out the next few liaison training videos. Again, there is also a printable line-by-line application guide available in this section. If you're a KanCare applicant or member and you're needing help to resolve a KanCare issue, we are here to assist you. Also, if you're a provider assisting someone or a family member or a neighbor and you're trying to help a KanCare applicant or member, we are here to help you also. Give us a call. Our toll-free number is 1-855-643-8180. Again, that's 1-855-643-8180, or email us at kancare.ombudsman@ks.gov.